Okay. Hey guys, well, welcome back to the next episode of Proof Cycling Podcast. I'm joined today by Mr. Tomek from Assos. We had a podcast with them already last year, so that was our first English podcast, and now we're doing it to live stream. So we went through a couple of things also in the first podcast, like the beginnings of Assos, stuff like that. So yeah, also some really interesting bits, which riders are using Assos shorts and stuff like that. So you can check that podcast out. And yeah, today it's 2023. COVID is out of the way. So Tomek, how are you? Yeah, you just mentioned off air that you just made 70k. This was your first ride? So 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 the winter has been good to you. Okay, that's also nice. So I thought that the first thing that we should discuss is some of the Assos collections. So how is everything structured? So the people that are more leisure cyclists know where to buy, what to look for, and stuff like that. So if you can just talk a little bit about the categories, the product line. Oh, sorry, can you just stop for a second? They said that they don't hear you. So, okay, hopefully now they will be able to hear you. Okay, yeah. Okay. Tomek, you can just talk some. Yeah. No, just talk a little bit so that we don't start if they don't hear you. So. I'm just checking for the. Okay, no, they still don't hear you. So let me check what's the problem. Okay, audio. Can you try it now? Oh, now I don't hear you, so that's not good. Can you try and talk right now?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe it was also the Bluetooth headset that was stealing the audio. Yeah.
No, I think I made some mistakes here. Okay. Can you talk right now?
Yeah, I sure can.
Okay.
Just let me know if everything's working.
Because I hear it from my speakers, but
Hopefully everything goes through now.
Okay, now they can hear you, so I think this should be good. Okay. Okay, you can talk a little bit about the collection first.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, which you couldn't hear probably, we try to have
can we just
something in mind.
Sorry, Tomek, I need to. Let me just check something else.
Yeah.
Monitors are off. This is getting weird, because yeah, I'm not sure why
it's not working. Yeah, because if you can't hear me, then
I think it should be through.
maybe it's a matter of choosing the source for the audio on the feed.
I think now it should work. Let me just wait a second or two.
Let's check.
So Tomek, tell me again, how was your day?
Oh, good, yeah. Up until now, the sun is shining.
Okay, we got a confirmation. Now everything's okay.
Perfect.
So yeah, we can start again.
Let's get on with it.
Okay, so just tell us something about the how the collection is set up. So yeah, so that people know if they're more leisure cyclists, more racing cyclists, which collection should they go for?
Yeah. So first of all, I would split it also into road cycling and the trail off-road and gravel lines. And within those, we have a line for both men and women, and then split by the way that you go on about cycling. So whether you're just a leisure cyclist, like you said, and you just enjoy it, and your purpose is not to race, to have like the best performance ever, but to be focused on comfort, then I would go with the Mille and Uma line respectively. So the Mille is the men's comfort line and Uma is the women's comfort line. They're both regular fit and designed for endurance rides and for comfort on the bike. And then we have another spectrum, which is the Equipe and Diora line. Equipe for men, Diora for women. And they are characterized by a really race fit, and they aim for having the best performance, the best breathability, and so on. So that's like the basic setup that we are using.
Okay. When we talked last year, I think we talked that there were a lot of new bibs coming out, or there were a lot of new bibs in the line, and I'm not sure, but I think this year there are even a couple of more bibs in the lineup. Because
actually this year we almost haven't had any new bibs apart from the women's gravel shorts.
Okay.
But most of the lineup kind of stayed the same. You probably know that about Assos already. We're not changing the complete lineup every year. It's a bit more thought through process where we really put much effort into those products, and it would be a shame if they went out of collection in the same year. And it's also got something to do with how we develop products and how much effort we are actually putting into bringing new products to life.
I just had a couple of customers that bought bibs, and they were really after the first ride they were like, oh, I didn't thought that this was that this could be so good. And like after that first ride you almost tell every customer, I told you so. So what's the difference between the chamois, so the padding inside the bibs, between the, let's say, the Miele, the GTO, and so people can understand it a little bit better? Because you have a couple of years ago you had almost the same chamois in all of the bibs, and now there's a lot of difference between the bibs chamois as well.
Yeah, definitely. So the way the inserts are done, they really are put into to fit the purpose they were meant for. So in general, for the Equipe line, you will have thinner inserts in comparison. They will be also better ventilated and narrower in size, just to avoid having any extra material and so on. And in general, the Miele lines or UMA respectively, they will be a bit thicker and more set up for comfort. The difference is, for example, the Equipe will be 9 millimeters thick, and with the Miele line, you go anywhere from 13 to 22 millimeters on the thickest inserts that we use on those ultra distance shorts, the GTO that you mentioned.
And regarding, when I went through the catalog, I saw that there were a lot of colors of socks, and mostly only gray, darker colors. Is that because of the increase of e-bikes, gravel riders, or a road is also switching to black socks and gray socks?
I mean, black socks were always trendy. Black and white is kind of the bread and butter. This is also what the dealers are asking for. I still believe that we do offer quite a wide range of colors. So if you really go through the catalog, of course you'll have the black and white and gray ones, but there's also some bright colors matching the jerseys that we have in line right now. I think a lot of it has to do with the type of people that are into Assos. That they are in general a bit more conservative when it comes to design, and they want the socks to match the rest of the outfit.
So regarding the lineup, you also have a tag called Targa. So what's that all about? What's the difference between let's say the older Equipe RS and the Targa version?
Yeah, so the Targa is kind of just another word for Evo. It came through from our chief engineer and designer, Roach Meyer, the son of Assos founder, who's now responsible for bringing in the new products and developing new products. And he's often inspired by the automotive industry. And the Targa you could see on the Porsche back in the days. I think it was a 911 that had a removable roof, and it was the updated version of the then existing 911. So like an Evo version. So the Targa is just that. It's the new and improved, more or less.
Perfect. So we just saw a team came out. So let's switch up a little bit. The Tudor Pro Cycling team. So how did that partnership came about? Because I think Assos and like a watch company, that I think it's a good fit for both of you guys. So when did that deal started to come into play?
Yeah, definitely. So that was already in the works when Fabian Cancellara, the team was existing already last year, but because it's a team owned by Fabian Cancellara and it has been supported as a partner by Tudor, they also managed to get other Swiss brands on course, like so they're riding BMC bikes. They mostly wear Souplest shoes, another Swiss company from Bern. And then we were a natural fit, especially having a relationship with Fabian Cancellara in the past when he was still, riding for the Swiss national team, and we were able to be alongside him during his best time, winning in the Olympics and so on. So it always felt like he's a big part of Assos history. So it really was like a match made in heaven.
And then the perfect thing is now he's also riding with Assos, kind of, because he kind of has to.
I can't say really if he has to. I don't know. I know he's an ambassador of other brands in the past, but I think he doesn't have anything against it.
Yeah, no. I just meant because he has his own team riding it, so I think it's only, it's
only fitting that
he supports it. So I've known Assos for around 20 years now, and a little bit less, around 15 years, and Assos has been always like renowned for their top quality products, and how everything goes into detail. Also, when the products are already made, how your not the clearance, but what's the inspection before you put out the products is. I know
quality control.
Yeah, quality control. A couple of times I know that we should already receive the product, but then you guys said no, it's not at our standards, so you needed to do the products again. So what's the, let's say, the mentality behind Assos? Because a lot of clothing companies, maybe they go down in quality, and Assos has pretty much stayed at the high end for a lot of decades, so it's not easy to maintain that.
It's not easy to maintain that, but like you said, it's a matter of setting a standard for yourself and for your brand, and not agreeing to go even a bit below that standard. No matter the cost. So like you said, we have a very rigorous QC process on every production stage. We check the goods, and if something's not right, then we want to make it right for sure, even if it means that the whole production line needs to go back to zero and be redone. We strongly believe that the product that hits the shelves should meet the expectations of the customers and be of the highest standard. And that's where we invest a lot of money, and not necessarily into marketing and so on, because we believe that a good product in the end will always persevere and win on the market.
Yeah. But you guys put a lot of effort also into the marketing, especially the video side. We see a lot of them going around. They're really high quality videos. They're not as easy to make as like just with a normal couple of hours of editing and that's it.
Definitely.
So
I mean, you have to stay relevant, and you have to stay in your times. And these days, no brand can exist without those kind of media. And we want to have the same standard for those media as we have with the product. So it all needs to
blend
match
in
each
together
other in the end.
Yeah.
We want to kind of show to the people what Assos is, and it's not easy. But like you said, with some really good quality videos and a lot of editing, I think we are able to achieve that.
Yeah. And regarding the standard, especially you guys are probably, everybody that's tried your bib shorts is really like happy, excited. Every time something new comes out, it's even better than the previous one. So where do ideas come from? How do you see? Because I remember the S2 lineup that was like way back, and those bibs, if anybody would ride them now, even now they would be probably one of the best bibs on the market, and that was like 10-15 years ago. So what's the process behind the manufacturing and the R&D?
Yeah. So I think it's kind of a DNA of Assos to look for improvement, to try to go along a way that nobody went before, and kind of create our own path. And we always try to have the best product that we can bring out at the moment to the market. It takes, like you said, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and each generation that launches, for example, the most likely next year we will be able to see something new. But this one has been in the making since 2018, since the S9 generation was launched. They were already starting to work on the next line and see what can be done after that. Mm-hmm. So it's like a never-ending story that keep pushing for more and finding new solutions. But it's deeply rooted in the history of the company. The company started with the first carbon bike, then was the first company to bring the Lycra to cycling, and then to be able to also print on those materials. Have that technology to get the sponsor logos on the jerseys and on the bibs. We are always striving to be the first in achieving something, and that's how we stay ahead of the bunch.
And is Roach still behind it, behind the testing process and stuff like that?
Like I mentioned before, he's still very much involved, and he has all of the say there is. So he's like the executive director. No product is getting launched without his approval. But luckily, he's also naturally got a great team around him, starting from the fabric development to the testing team, and so on and so on. And then this way we try to align and have all of the people working for us really achieving the best product in the end.
I think we talked a little bit about this, but what do you think is the key feature that separates Assos from other cycling brands?
I think it's the attention to detail and seeing the product not only as as one feature or just the insert or just that. We view this as a system, and everything has to work with each other, and all the features of the shorts. The aim is to have a product in the end that you just forget about it when you cycle, and the main focus is just to enable people to enjoy riding the bike without thinking about shorts that are not comfortable, with a jersey that's not breathable, and so on.
You just mentioned the shorts, and which shorts are you riding right now?
I'm lucky to have a few models, and I change them depending on the weather conditions, depending on the distance, and sometimes I just want to test something new. Most of the times I use the Equipe line. These days, my absolute favorite is the Equipe RS Spring Fall bib shorts. Yeah. They are a bit warmer and perfectly comfortable for me in the temperature range from 5 to even 20 degrees. Yeah. So a really wide spectrum and a great comfortable pair of bibs.
Yeah. Yeah, I use those as well. Right now, I think it's in Europe. It's the perfect weather conditions for that. Maybe some like in the south of Spain, maybe there would be too hot. But yeah, in other parts, I think that's the right bibs. So we've mentioned the R&D, and let's talk just a little bit about the sustainability and how the materials. Because I think it's pretty easy to make a material that's really sustainable, but then you need to make it comfortable and also to week out moisture and stuff like that. So
so it's a long process, and it all starts at our laboratory. So we have our own textile laboratory in Lugano, where all of the fabrics are created, and they are created with cycling in mind from the get-go. So they are aiming to work in all those changeable conditions that we are riding in. Then we have a network of suppliers that produce those fabrics after they've been tested and so on. And the interesting part about also sustainability and ecology, I think you can call that, is that all of our suppliers are within a 150 kilometer circle from the headquarters, so where the product is developed and all that. That's why we have a really quick access to those, and the logistics is not as harmful as sometimes. So it's not produced in China and all that. And then the product in the end is well tested. So like you said, the sustainability is key. And for us, also less is better, buy less, buy better. It's our philosophy is to buy one good pair of shorts instead of three that you will not enjoy in the first place, and they will just fall apart. Mm-hmm. So it's money well spent.
So you just mentioned buy less, buy better. So I've been hearing with Assos especially that less material is less friction also. So can you talk about that, and how does that really come into play on the bike?
Yeah. So what we often try to achieve is a very simple construction. Every seam that you have extra, every panel that you have extra, is something that can cause discomfort potentially. So we try to have the minimum amount of those, and if we do, then they are set up in a way that you really don't feel them on the bike. And the other thing is that every seam that you have extra is also a potential defect to the short. So the longevity of the product is also affected by that approach. It's the most difficult thing to create the simplest of products, but they work best in the end.
And you mentioned your favorite shorts, and I was just thinking, because like the races here in Europe are pretty cold at the moment. Do you have any idea, or do you know what the teams are using? So the Tudor team is using, is it only like the summer bibs, or do they also have the spring fall bibs as well?
No, they also have the spring fall. It depends on the race. Like on the classics, for example, I know that they were using the spring fall version of the bibs, because they offer the same race fit, the same compression, just a bit more thermal comfort. And the other thing is that in those races, it's crucial to keep your body at a certain temperature. Otherwise, you just lose energy to keep warm. So it's often the difference maker in the end that you have a product that protects you from the elements and helps you to store your energy for when you really need it and during the race, and not just to generate warmth.
And how do you guys pick up the ambassadors? What's the process like? Are those the cyclists that you guys already have some good connections with? Or because I saw some cyclists that I know that weren't riding for Assos in almost any season, but I know they had Assos Chamonix inside. So yeah. So what's the process like with those?
So like you said, for years, pretty much since the beginning of the company, Assos is known for supplying a lot of the pro teams with our shorts or with our chamois, because they are at that level of comfort. And there are many riders, even these days in the peloton, that use our products, even though you cannot see that from the outside. So those relationships have always been there, and usually it's just a natural connection. Like, for example, Fabio Aru, who's in his career now, but he became Assos ambassador pretty much directly after finishing racing. Or Nicolas Roche, he also has a history with the company through his father, who was also known for riding in Assos. It's usually a connection like that. Another one is Tony Martin, who's a fan of the brand personally. So for him, it was also a natural transition. And with ambassadors, we have the same approach. So we prefer to have less of them, but of a certain quality and standard.
Yeah. And also the identity, so the brand identity of Assos is really crucial here, because all of the riders are really top tier riders, and I think they're not in like any scandal or stuff like that, pretty much. So it's do you consider that as well, or is it more of a like personal connection?
I think this is something every company has to consider at some level. But like I said, this is more about the connection with the brand and having the affinity of the product. Yeah. Usually we call them like Assos believers. So they're people that are already convinced that Assos is the right brand for them. Yeah. To cycle in, and they're happy to represent a brand like that.
Yeah, because especially with the graphics, I think a lot of other brands are changing every year. Something new pops up, but with Assos, I think you guys maintain a pretty like Assos line through all of the history, and like it's crazy to see that the brands or the lovers of Assos are staying, or they're increasing year by year, because usually you know how marketing works. When something new fresh is out, everybody wants to hop on a train, but Assos pretty much stays in the, let's say, in their own lane, and people flock to it. So that's regarding marketing, that's I don't see any other company, especially in cycling, doing what you guys do.
Yeah, you've mentioned fashion changing, and fashion changes, but quality never goes out of style. I think that's the reason behind it. In the end, you always want to have the best product, and of course, we try to stay in touch with what the market is asking for in terms of design and colorways and so on. But at the same time, we want to remain true to what Assos is and have our style remaining. It's a bit more conservative, but it's like an evergreen. We can look at jerseys from a few years back and they still look good because it is a bit more conservative design. I think you can compare this also with the cars. If something crazy pops up, it's nice in the first second year, but after a quick while, it's really going out of fashion quickly. And then there's cars that are 40, 50 or more years old, and they still look absolutely great.
Regarding the products, I've just visited some other countries, and I see there's a big difference from American culture to European culture, and then especially Middle East, Asia. How do you guys deal with because also the people are a little bit different, the structure is a little bit different, so the cyclists are, I think, like in Asia, especially women, you probably sell a lot of extra smalls, because like in Europe it's probably from small and up.
So in terms of the sizing, it really changes, like you said, from market to market, and you can notice different trends on different markets. But even within Europe, in the Nordics, in general, we sell larger sizes than in the south of Europe and so on. But the spectrum of the sizes that we have in offer is absolutely enough to cover all of the groups that we have or the potential customers. And I think the common thing that we have on those markets is again the conservative design, which is appealing wherever you go.
Yeah. You mentioned the R&D, the Werksmannschaft team, and also the Tudor team, and also the materials that they are tested. So the R&D department in the Lugano. So how does everything? So what's the timeline, or what's the procedure like from coming
from an idea to the finished product? So that's a long road. It's not that Road just gets an idea and says, okay, let's put this into production straight away. For us, it doesn't work that way. It starts with an idea or with a need for a product. First, we try to match the fabrics. Then we plan how the product will be constructed and how it could be constructed, what could work best, what solutions to use. After the first prototype is done, then it goes immediately to our testing teams, be it our Werksmannschaft or our partnering teams that we are working with, because we also work closely with Tudor, with Swiss Cycling, and they're not just racing teams, but they're also like a laboratory on wheels for us, and we're able to get some great feedback from them. So the products that they're testing, they're really put into work and thoroughly stress tested, and they give live feedback to our production team. So after that, they are able to adjust the prototypes, and in the end, we have a product that's really close to perfection. There were some models of the bibs that we did over 80 prototypes of, but we wanted to make sure that it's the right product at the end after it comes out of production and it's having our logo on it.
Okay. And Also regarding the gravel and mountain bike scene, do you see that growing a lot through this past probably a couple of years? Because in the lineup you have some products that are specially designed for that market. And when I was looking at the socks are a perfect example, because those colors of socks you won't really find them like that much, because most of the roadies really like just are full black or white, and other colors are more, I think, in the gravel mountain bike space. So I see you dedicated some time to gravel cyclists, and so that market must be growing.
Yeah, definitely. So it is a fast growing sector. It has a lot to do with the COVID effect. It enabled a lot of people to feel the freedom on the bike and go out, and instead of going on the roads, they prefer the off roads and gravel riding, because feel like it's safer. They're more into nature. And I think the design of the jerseys is also matching this in a way. So it's more nature related and adjusted to the environment that those people are riding in.
And do you see that in Europe are a lot of cyclists from those two sectors, so cross country and gravel, or also enduro? Or do you sell those products more into, let's say, the American market, or where do you see it being the biggest?
No, so we're really selling those pretty much everywhere. The mountain bikes or the enduro downhill part of the collection is really more regional, I would say. So whenever you have some nice mountains, some nice downhill routes, that's where we will sell more of those. But the gravel collection is really selling well pretty much everywhere.
Okay. Do you have any tips or any news? What's coming out from Assos regarding the products? In which way, or in which lineup can we expect something really special to pop up?
So as I mentioned before, I think there might be some news on the bib shorts next year. But as of now, I can't really tell anything. It's still a secret, and we try to keep it a secret until the very end. Right now, they are being tested and finalized and everything else. So at this point, I cannot tell much more. But definitely stay tuned. There's always something interesting in the pipeline. And we're always trying to bring one or two surprise.
Perfect. In the previous podcast, I asked you what's your best product from Assos. Do you have like a new best product? Which one do you like the most?
So for me, it's still probably the Equipara Spring Fall shorts, the one that I mentioned before. But I have to say I really like the new GTS jersey. I was just riding in it yesterday and really enjoyed it. It's got that second skin fit, and I think you're getting the most for your money with that jersey, with the materials and how it's done. And the other product that I really like, and even though it's just a basic bib short that we do, the Miller GT bib shorts, I think it's really a fantastic product for what it is, and really compares to much higher models from the competition.
Mm-hmm. And Do you guys, I forgot to mention it earlier, but do you guys also have like a lot of women in the Werksmannschaft team, or how do you also, yeah, because there are a lot of new women cyclists out there.
No, we definitely do have the women testers as well. So it wouldn't be possible to develop female products if we didn't. And it's important that we do have that female input into the design process. So they're very much incorporated and part of the both design and testing team.
Okay. And for the end, do you have any short stories that you can tell regarding or the product or regarding what happens behind the scenes at Assos? Anything you can share? Or any good stories that it's maybe a bit older, so you can share it, so it's not like from yesterday.
Trying to think what maybe I could return to the theme that we were speaking before. It's a good couple of years back. It was times of Team Sky, and they were, I think it was 2018, and they were riding a certain brand of products, but the bunch of the shorts landed in our headquarters to have the chamois put in. And at the same time, we were actually launching another platform. And I remember Roach speaking about it, because it was like really, we had the presentation and the same day those shorts arrived. And he said, okay, it's great that they decided to put our chamois in, but it's still being put into a shitty pair of bibs. And I think for me it was kind of a very important thing to hear, because it tells you a lot of how he thinks about the products. Like I said, it's not just the chamois, it's not just the lycra. It's pretty much everything that goes into the product that's important. So yeah, that's one story. I'm not gonna name the company. You can Google everything. I think these days it's pretty easy. So if you go into 2018, you'll know exactly.
Yeah, but it's
which brand it will be.
What you just mentioned regarding the bibs and regarding all of the Assos products, it's so true, because if you just put in like a good chamois into a bad pair of bibs, you still won't have the same effect because of the stitching and everything. It doesn't line up like it should.
Just a simple bib can make a world of the difference. You know, if you think, I know probably some of you have ridden before with those bibs that have net in between and laces on both sides, and in the end they always bunch up together and really bite into your shoulders, and it's everything else than comfortable. And after 2-3 hours in the saddle, you've had enough, and you can't really focus on the ride anymore.
Yeah, like what you just mentioned now, it's also so true with the jersey as well, especially the Keep line, because when you put that jersey on, I know that I've went on a couple of rides that were last year and previous years that were more than 150 kilometers long, and I didn't need to adjust it like even for one bit, because with different pair of jerseys I needed to put them down a little bit, especially on the back, especially if the pockets are full. So the R&D,
it's the little things in total that, you know, that's
makes the difference,
create a good product.
Yeah. Tomek, thank you for your time. I think we've discussed a couple of key points from Assos. If you want to add anything else, please, you have some time.
I'm good, Andrzej. It was a pleasure to speak to you again.
Yeah.
And yeah, already looking forward to the next time.
Perfect. Guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It was a quick podcast, so yeah. Next week we have a different guest. Not sure who's going to be, but in April we will be talking to Ceramic Speed, Princeton Wheels, and yeah, we will have one special guest as well, which hopefully I'll be able to name soon. So Tomek, thanks again for your time, and say hello to everybody in the team.
Thank you, will do.
Ciao.